we have been all through the year partnering with our friend Kathy Boyle, who's here today, at the Perced Center for a weekly coffee and conversation. This is the first year that we've done that, and essentially AARP is underwriting the cost of a weekly coffee and conversation with our friends in the LGBT community, and she chairs those weekly meetings, and we're really happy that she's here today. So that's been a really positive weekly event that we're able to help with, and I go quarterly and give my little AARP spiel, so it's been really great. This year we have had 11 movies for grown-ups. Unfortunately, Bill Campbell, I hate to tell you, but the Jennifer Lopez movie got canceled again. I know you were looking forward to that, so they pulled the pin on the Jennifer Lopez movie. But we have one more this year, so, and a lot of folks in this room are, and particularly John and Rose, you're almost always there. Bill is almost always there, so we always have volunteers checking everybody in at our Movies for Grown-ups, so those have been terrific. This year we also had our first in what was a sort of statewide series of briefings on telemedicine. We had kind of a setback this week. It seems that the telemedicine bill is in serious jeopardy, but a lot of people in this room were the first folks to come and learn about it and start making those phone calls to legislators. That was all the way back in January, so we want to thank you for that. This year we have already done 3, and we have one more legislative briefing on age-friendly. I think everybody in this room has probably attended or at least heard about these events. And Laura Poskin, who's the age-friendly director, is with us. She has been just an amazing partner. So the Southwest Pennsylvania Partnership on Aging and AARP Pennsylvania have hosted these briefings, and every quarter or so, we invite every elected official in Allegheny County to come out and learn about our incredible work with Age Friendly. So we're really happy to have her here. And in case anybody doesn't know, she's expecting. So that's very fun. Yeah. Some fun news that I get to blab around. And we have one more briefing, one more for this year on November 29th. The save the date is on the back, so hopefully you can all attend, and that will be focused on our innovation work. And of course, everyone's favorite event, shredding. So we were out at Kennywood this year. We had a bit of a lower turnout, but we had a fine time. We kind of determined that the traffic and the construction around Kennywood Park didn't help. But that was an annual event for us, and it's really a lot of work, so I really want to thank everybody who was there. And it's a tough day, but we got through it. We did it. And of course, Mary hosted a Scam Jam back in March, and we had a really full house there. And Dick Stringer's here with the District Attorney's Office, and Dick, were you with us on our Scam Jam? I'm not sure if you made it there. So Dick and the DA's office have been partnering with us on a lot of our fraud work, so we want to thank him for being here too. So I just want to mention now that the legislative expos and the health fairs really gear up in the spring and kind of start to taper off now. And I want to acknowledge that our Northwest team, our volunteer team from sort of Beaver County on up to Erie, do a lot of health fairs, and they cover a lot of ground for us, so we certainly appreciate everything that they do. And their attention to detail, I appreciate that very much. And John and Carol Kinney coordinate, where's Carol? Coordinate all of our health fair work here. So just so everyone in this room knows, again, all of that is done and managed by volunteers. Ray gets the emails, and he has the lucky job of packing up the boxes and sending them to you all. But that all happens thanks to the work of everybody in this room, so we really appreciate that. This year we also partnered with the Jewish Healthcare Foundation for a series of walks and activities in our county park system. We did a great walk with the newly elected city councilwoman Erica Strasburger, and then Corey O'Connor as well. So I think a couple of you were there. Those were really successful, fun events. Unfortunately, we had to cancel our bike ride with County Executive Rich Fitzgerald just a few weeks ago, because that was the day when the rain came down and Banksville Road was a river. So unfortunately, we had to cancel that event, but we'll hope to get a chance to do that with him again. maybe next year. This year we also started some really exciting new work with veterans. Unfortunately, Marianne Raymer is not here today. She has really led our work on veterans and working with veterans groups. There's about 8 or 10 people in this room who've been meeting kind of as an ad hoc committee. We attended a stand down where 300 veterans came out to stage AE just a couple of weeks ago and were able to get haircuts and referrals for different things that they needed, and we were just there to greet them and thank them for their service, and we're really excited about our work with veterans, so I think that's really going to take off next year. So thanks to everybody who's doing that. Our voter engagement piece in this part of the state, as Bill said, has been really successful. We were able, again, thanks to Dave Aiken's wrangling mostly, we were able to get both Congressman Rothfuss and Congressman Lamb to agree to breakfasts. So we had a breakfast with Congressman Lamb last week. We'll do another one with Congressman Rothfuss this week, Friday. So that has been was a really big breakthrough for us, and I want to thank Dave for his tenacity. And then we, of course, will continue on with the voter engagement up until Election Day. Please do consider taking some of those absentee ballot request forms in the back, getting them to anyone you know who you think might sit it out this year. It's incredibly important that everybody in this room maybe reach out to 5 people and make sure that they have a plan to vote. Bill and I, my partner Bill is here, and we are leaving to go to Ireland on November 1st. So we aren't even going to be here for Election Day, which is really strange, but we're going to go on an absentee vote. Actually, we talked about doing that next week. So so I'm going to leave it all up to you to turn out everybody in Allegheny County to vote. Yeah. That's your assignment while I'm gone. So that's just a very, very quick overview of everything that we've done. I cannot thank you all enough for all of the work and the leadership that you provide. I absolutely could not, we couldn't do any of the work that we do without everyone in this room. So I'm gonna hand it over to Bill. I just want to thank you all again so much for everything that you do. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Jen.
Perfect, thank you. All right, so as you can see from your agenda that we're going to be talking about some wonderful people here today. You're all wonderful, but we're spotlighting 3 individuals. Before I do that, I was remiss in not pointing out some individuals. I know Jen just talked about our partners in the community. We're very happy that you're all here. But I just want to let everyone know, and you'll hear a little bit later from Joanne Grossi, who's our state president. Joanne, can you just stand up for a second? Joanne is joining us from Philadelphia. We have Belinda Johns, who's on our executive council. Belinda, can you just stand up? Has been doing an outstanding job. And we have Stella Hyde with us. Stella is our past president for the state, and she's also the chair of the Governor's Council on Aging, and has been doing an outstanding job in that position, really taking a lot of our policies, which are great policies at AARP, and making sure that the governor and his administration know about that. So we're very pleased. Thank you, Stella, for that one. Before I get into the award that I'm going to be talking about, I want to just follow up on what Jen had talked about with telemedicine. I want to echo her thank you, because it all started, again, just like the CARE Act. Telemedicine, the CARE Act started out here, and we did pass that in 2016. And now telemedicine started out here with, again, one of our first trainings that we did, that you all attended, a majority of you attended, and then you went out and started talking to the speaker's office, Speaker Turzai, talking to members out here, giving us the momentum that we needed. Sadly to say that because of timing issues, the House and Senate, today it was their last day, and I'm sure who knows if they're wrapping up right this second or not, but today's their last day of a voting session. So the telemedicine bill, because of an amendment that was put on it at the last minute, did not pass. It passed the Senate, again, with the help of all of you and our volunteers across the state. We were able to get it out in May through the Senate, but then it came over to the House and then ran into this amendment issue. But before it ran into this amendment issue, there was agreement from both the Democratic side and the Republican side to pass this. So I want to let all of you know that Ray Landis, who's here with us today, is going to be taking the lead with all of you again, and we're going to be pushing this bill because there has been an agreement. This is a bill that we talked to every member in the House and Senate. Oh yeah, telemedicine, we're for it, no problem. If you looked at who supported it, we had 45 individual organizations supporting the telemedicine bill. Besides us, notables were the doctors, the medical society. We had the hospital association that was on board. And then if you looked on the other side, there were 4 against, and they were all insurance companies. The Insurance Federation and 3 large insurance companies, which I'm not going to name right here. But we had conversations with them. Joanne did a great job talking to Independence Blue Cross. We had several of our national folks talking to the Insurance Federation. So we're working it out, and we're going to be introducing this bill early in 2019 in the new session. And we hope to be pushing this through before the spring arrives. So I just want to let everyone know that all your hard work is not for naught. We're very excited about this, and we're going to continue pushing on this because this is an important bill, important policy issue, especially for our more rural areas, and we want to make sure that this gets through. So I just want to give you that quick update on that one. The other thing I want to do is I want to thank the team here too, because again, as we say, we can't do what we do without all of you. Well, I couldn't do it without my team. We have a great team in Pennsylvania, and a few of them are here right now. So, of course, you all know Jen. Jen Glatz, over in the corner. She may be in the corner, but she's out and about and making things happen, not just here in the western part of the state, but across the state, talking to her counterparts. So I just want to thank Jen for that. We have Ray Landis, as many of you know, who's our advocacy manager. We have Steve Gardner in the back, that's always with the camera, doing our media and communications work, and has been doing a great job. And then we also have with us, who you're going to be hearing from in a little bit, Raul Andrews, who's our Senior Vice President for the Mega Region. And Raul, if you can just stand up for a second. Raul did an extraordinary job yesterday being the keynote speaker at SWIPA's conference, and had them on the edge of their seats for about an hour. And so he did a great job. Raul is the one who gives us the support that we need here in the Commonwealth to do the work that we're doing. He's our partner in the sense that we go to him, say we need some resources for this, or we need to talk to somebody, we need to have an idea vetted. Raul is the man that makes it happen for us. So I just want to let all of you know that even though he's in DC, and I don't know what everybody thinks about DC these days, but Raul is one of the good guys, so I just want to thank Raul for that. So saying all that, speaking of another good person, I just want to talk a little bit about an individual who has done outstanding work for 18 plus years for AARP. And I'm talking about Barbara Bush. Let me just put that out there. I mean, I know you all know this, but I'm just going to put it out there right this second. I met Barbara back in 2001. And I was this wide-eyed kid. I can say that because I'm getting older now, but I was a wide-eyed kid at that point. And who was down from the western part of the state down into our Harrisburg office, and I ran into Barbara. Big smile on her face, coming right at me. I'm like, oh, what did I do? Did I do something wrong? Is someone gonna yell at me? But Barbara was there. She just welcomed me to the AARP family. Told me that she's here for me, and she has been here for me every day since then. She has been part of, obviously, the leadership out here in the western part of the state. Barbara has been the regional lead for years, helping with all of you, making sure that you're getting the resources, partnering with Jen, and before Jen with Rebecca, and before Rebecca, Kelly, just making sure that you are getting what you need. She's a fierce advocate down in Harrisburg, and I just want to let everyone know that. Barbara was on our executive council, as many of you know, which is the kind of like our board here, giving her wisdom for 6 years. Just left not even a year and a half ago, only because her time ran out, not because we wanted to get rid of her. And, you know, if I could, I would have kept her on longer. But you know, we need to be able to get different ideas from, and that's, you know, Belinda actually is filling Barbara's shoes, and she's doing a good job with that. We appreciate that. We appreciate her on that. So with the executive council, Barbara really was there what we try to do is have issue experts. So we have the Sonny Popowski, who does our consumer advocate. He was a former consumer advocate here. He does a lot of our utilities issues. We have the former Secretary of Aging, Linda Rhodes, is on our council. We have someone from Comcast that has a media background. So we always try to get issue experts, really to be able to guide us in the work that we're doing at AARP. You know, and with Belinda now with her FBI background in her fraud background. And with Barbara, the background that she brought was across the board, but the real expertise that she brought was letting people know that yeah, you could talk about all these overarching issues, but the work gets done on the ground. And so Barbara talked about not just what was happening here in the western part of the state, of all the work that all of you have been doing, but she talked about bringing up what has been happening in the Lehigh Valley, what's been happening in Harrisburg, Lancaster, York, what's been happening in Philadelphia. And again, what's been happening with partnership with the staff and the team here at AARP is the volunteers on the ground. So Barbara always put the volunteers first and never let us forget that. Every executive council meeting, Barbara was there talking about the work, saying it would not be getting done without all of you and all of the work that you've been doing. So she's been an unbelievable advocate in that sense. I know that and I want Barbara to stay with us for a long time, but I felt that it was important at this point, just because of everything that she's done, just to thank her for her years of service, thank her for the work that she's done, you know, not just on the ground here, but across the state. Another piece that Barbara has done is that in our communication, she's worked with Steve and Jackie Asassi out of our Philadelphia office on a lot of media and communications work. One of the things that she's done is that she's written an article for years on a monthly basis in the Pittsburgh Senior News. And that article, Barbara, is not just in this. We take that article, we show it to our counterparts down at the national office. We make sure that it's across the board here in the Commonwealth. So I don't know if I ever told you that or not, but you know, you're making an imprint here in the western part of the state, but it has tentacles in other parts as well as in our DC office. So saying all that, I just wanted to just tell you it's my privilege and honor to have known Barbara for all these years, and I hope to know her a long time to come. And Barbara, if you just want to come up here, I just want to give you a little something to say thank you. So these plates are something that are made right here in Pittsburgh. There's a company in Pittsburgh that makes these great plates that have different designs on them, and some of the proceeds go to different charities. So I know there's one that goes to the environment, there's one that goes to Meals on Wheels, there's another one that goes to homeless. So just want to let everybody know, besides her getting this, she's also giving back to the community as well. Barbara, just very plain and simple, Barbara. It says, Barbara Bush, AARP Pennsylvania's outstanding years of service and commitment to the 50-plus Pennsylvanians from 2000 to 2018. I just want to thank you so much.
Everybody look
Sit
this
on.
way. Actually, thank you. Thank you.
Once again, if everybody can just give it up for Barbara. No, we want to stay on track here, so not too many.
I just want to say it's the team. And if Bill said we all make him look good, believe me, you make me shine. But remember, you all are the stars. And this luncheon is to honor each and every one of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
So at this point, I want to hand it over to Raul Andrews, who's going to do a special recognition himself.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
For those of you who are meeting for the first time, I want to let you know, my name is Raul Andrews. It's been my honor to be your regional vice president. For the newbies in this room, since 2015, for those of you who've gone back with us a while, I've been in and around the Commonwealth since 2011 as the regional vice president. So we've seen leadership come and go. We've seen opportunities come and go, and I came to Western Pennsylvania for 3 reasons this week. One, I wanted to be a part of the recognition of this room of volunteer champions. I'm having an opportunity to do that, and I thank you for that. 2, I wanted to see some old friends and mentors, and to let them know that we're still keeping the fight on. I've been glad to have the opportunity to do that. But the third and the primary reason why I came was because I knew Senate Bill 780 was going to pass, the Pennsylvania telemedicine bill, and I wanted to be in Pennsylvania so people in Washington, D.C., not Washington, Pennsylvania, people in Washington, D.C. knew that the #1 priority we had this legislative session was to pass the Pennsylvania telemedicine bill. So unfortunately, it did not happen, but I want the word to go out because I am here that it is the #1 priority for us next year. And it's not because Bill or Joanne Grossi asked you to do it. Your regional vice president is standing before you telling you that in addition to whatever lane you're in, as a volunteer or staff person for AARP or a community partner for AARP, I need you to get in another lane. And that other lane is to pass the Pennsylvania telemedicine bill. So that no matter what we're doing, movies for grown-ups, I want you to nudge somebody and let them know telemedicine is important to you, telemedicine is important to me, and telemedicine is important to the Commonwealth. If we're doing Fraud Watch, I want them to get a nudge, let them know. This is all a part of our package to bring telemedicine to the Commonwealth. When we're out doing our community forums and so forth, we got to stay steady with the drumbeat. Because one of the things that gives us the opportunity to celebrate volunteerism and these volunteer champions is that we recognize that the cost of doing nothing is almost always higher than the cost of doing something. And that we know we can't do everything. But when all is said and done, let's make more sure that what's done is more than what was said. And that is why we gotta pass it. I know with your leadership, with your energy, your time and your talent, we're gonna get it done. And I'm glad to be here with you regardless, but I do wanna let you know, I would have done a cartwheel for you if you had put PA 780 over the line. We have a short program. I don't want to belabor it too much, but I do want to emphasize, because I've said it before, and I will say it again as a mid-50s-year-old man, I'm not against any generation, but I'm unapologetically pro-50 plus. Because when it comes to the willingness, the fortitude, the resilience that will ultimately heal the Commonwealth, that will heal the United States, and that can repair the globe that we call Earth, is going to be because people 50 and older decided enough is enough. And something more had to be done. And we had to make some changes, and we can't wait for other people to do it. And we don't have too much time to keep showing people how to do it. We got to stay in the game. You got to take your turn at bat. I've got to take my turn at bat. And when it's somebody else is to take their turn at bat, we can't be turning our back on them turning them. We got to be yelling for them just like they're yelling for you when it's your turn at bat. So take your cuts when it's your time. Now, we are recognizing and saluting leadership. Quickly, do I have any past Andrus Award winners here? If I got any past, then please stand and be recognized for some champions who've been recognized. Please give them some love. They will tell you they didn't do it alone. We know they didn't do it alone, but somebody had to be out front, willing to take the cuts, willing to take the hits, willing to be told no. Do we have any past or present executive council members here, including state presidents? Past or present EC? Let's stand up there, give them love. Because you can't be in every room, you can't be in every phone conversation, but they're in every room and they're in every phone conversation. I also want to take a special time to salute my mentor and former regional volunteer director, Dr. Stella Hyde, who not only has worked the state for us tirelessly for decades, but she makes sure Western Pennsylvania never gets left out of any conversation, any debate. And so, Stella, thank you so much for being here. This was a treat beyond repair, and I'd probably be in tears, but you brought home some cherry on top for me. Now, let's do our celebration. One of the things that I wanted to bring word is that when it comes to Pennsylvania representation in the national office, people know Bill Johnston Walsh, people know Joanne Grossi, but when it's been time to talk about what the Commonwealth is doing for AARP and vice versa in Washington, many instances, Mary Bach has been the person they've called to Washington as your representative. Not Mary Bach in her own name, but as your representative. When they've needed people to talk to the CEO, Joanne Jenkins, and the executive team, many times Mary Bach's name has come up. For the last 2 years running in our region of the mega region, the 7 largest states in the country, you get more money for fraud work than any other state office in the country. And a lot of it is because Mary Bach has made sure that they knew what you were working on. So we couldn't bring everybody to Washington every time, but when Mary was called, and sometimes Lynn drags along with her. And I never knew Lynn was gonna come, and I keep running into Lynn, why are you here? And he's like, oh yeah, they got Mary testifying, they got Mary talking, they got Mary debating, they got Mary negotiating. I'm like, well, that makes my job a little easier, because you might be able to tell Raul no, it's hard to tell Mary Bach no. And that's why I was happy to be with SWIPA yesterday and to spend 1/4 of my speech talking about the great work that's happening around cybersecurity and consumer protection in the fraud, anti-fraud space. And I know all of you are part of it, so give yourselves a hand for the great work that the fraud team has done. And Mary, if you would come up, the plates that we honor, we've been doing this almost 10 years in this regional family, but Habitat for Humanities is the organization that will receive a portion of the proceeds. These are called Platters with a Purpose. Now let me tell you what happened. When we first started doing the Andrus Awards, and I'm happy to say, Bill Johnston Walsh, I was wrong. Because when I was the managing vice president for Pennsylvania, my view was we needed to move it across the state and have these 300 and 400 person celebrations of volunteerism, make it kind of like the Golden Globes and Academy Awards. And everybody said, well, what about the travel burden for people who don't live in the Southeast? Or what about the people who can't get to central Pennsylvania? Or what about the folks struggling in the West Side to get from one place to the other? And so when they went to a more regionalized in-state structure, this was the first time I had an opportunity, because I've been to Cranberry and I've been to Grand Concourse, so I've seen the way it's happened. But the reality of it is, this is a much more intimate setting. This is the appropriate way to do it. But Plates for a Purpose was going to go out of business when the Great Recession came. And I was looking for not some South Dakota or some Colorado or some California or New York firm that was going to be able to provide a signature award for our region. But could we find a homegrown company, small business that's doing work? Just so happened they were 60 plus Pennsylvanians. And we have been using this award all over when it's appropriate as our regional signature piece. So Mary Bach, on behalf of your national and your regional team, we want to present to you a 2018 AARP Trailblazer Award for all the work you and your team have done to protect us in the dark web and in the consumer protection space. Thank you very much. Bill, Stella, Joanne, come on up.
There you go.
Okay, you go first. Len. Look at Len.
I'm looking wrong, I'm sorry.
Okay, now look this way. Thank you.
And Raul, thank you so much. I am just so truly honored to receive such a lovely acknowledgement. And while I've got the microphone, I want to acknowledge two members of the AARP Consumer Issues Task Force team that I chair statewide that are here in the room today. Eileen Mazza is here from 84, Pennsylvania, and our friend Dave Aiken from the Northwest. And you will all be interested to know that we are now referring to Dave Aiken as Mr. Bingo, because Dave Aiken is doing fraud bingo for a lot of the senior centers and senior high-rises and is doing a yeoman's job. And I appreciate all of the hard work that both of these wonderful people are doing on behalf of AARP. Again, it is my honor and pleasure to be associated with AARP and to spread the anti-fraud message, because you know we don't want anybody to be cheated out of their hard-earned money. And I will close by saying, just remember, if you can spot a scam, you can stop a scam. Thank you very much.
Mary, you know more than most. It's not how much we give, but how much love we put into giving. And you're showing that each and every day, and for that I thank you. Bill Johnston Walsh, so we keep the program running. Let me call you back up so you can make an appropriate introduction to our leader.
So as many of you know, the Andrus Award is really the leadership award in each state. And every year we've had outstanding applicants that have come forward for this award, and we've had some great winners, as you can see from the individuals that stood up before. Really looking at someone who's given back to this. I want to introduce Joanne Grossi, who's going to present the award. Joanne has been with me for about a year now as a state president, but I've had the privilege of knowing Joanne for quite a few years. We worked together as deputy secretaries. She was over at Health, I was over at Aging, working on some great work across the board. Then Joanne went and worked for the federal government. She was the regional HHS director based out of Philadelphia that had 6 states. I was going to say 7. 6 states, and did an outstanding job there. We were lucky enough that I'm glad to see that maybe she got burned out a little bit, retired a little younger, and we were able to bring her into the AARP family, and has been doing an outstanding job. Has been helping us lead the fight on the telemedicine bill, has been talking about a lot of the healthcare issues across the Commonwealth. She's being looked at to be put on a policy panel down in DC for her expertise as well. So with that, I want to introduce my partner in crime, Joanne Grossi, and she'll be introducing the award for the Andrus Award winner.
Thank you, Phil.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. And I know we're all excited to get to the announcement, but
Before that, I just wanted to echo some of the comments you've heard from Raul, who, by the way, I always hate following Raul, isn't it? He's just so amazing as a speaker. I hate following him. But I also just wanted to echo my thanks to all the volunteers here. Like you, I am a volunteer as state president, but I want to thank you for everything you've done out here in the Southwest. I think as we get older, we realize the greatest commodity we have is our time. And so that you give your time and your energy and your commitment and your passion to the cause of serving the 50-plus population, we're just all incredibly grateful, because you've heard it said, but it's worth repeating. AARP couldn't get done all the important things that we're getting done without all of your efforts. And so I really just want to one more time give yourselves a hand for everything you've done. So I get the great job of the real big final reason we're here today, to announce the winner of the 2018 Andrews Award for Community Service, which, as you know, is AARP's most prestigious volunteer award. It's named for our founder, Dr. Ethel Percy Andrus, and the award goes to an outstanding individual who is making the community better in ways that are consistent with AARP's mission, vision, and commitment to volunteer service, and who inspires others to volunteer. So I hope you all know by now Dr. Andrus' motto was to serve, not to be served. And so with this Legacy Andrus Award for Community Service, really echoes that. So what makes this award special is that it is someone who's been nominated by their peers and selected by a committee of AARP volunteers right here in Pennsylvania. This year there were 29 nominees, 8 of which were right here from Southwest Pennsylvania. And we have a couple of people here who were nominated. So I'd like to ask you, when your name's announced, to please come up. Jen's going to have a pin that she's going to present you with. So if you hear your name, if you could please come up, I'd really appreciate it. Mary Kay Boranowski.
Just stop. Hey, Mary Kay, just stop. That's great, thanks.
Bill Campbell.
That's great. Thank you.
We've got a couple, Carol and Joe Hirsch.
One more. Great, thank you.
Very nice.
And finally, John Favero.
Yay.
And John, I'm going to ask you to stand up here, because I am pleased to announce that the 2018 AARP Pennsylvania Andrus Award winner for community service is longtime AARP volunteer John Favero. I'm going to just let John stand there and be embarrassed for a minute as I read a little bit about him. You can go ahead and take your seats. John certainly... no, take it off right after. John certainly exemplifies AARP's mission to enhance the quality of life for everyone as we age. So hold on while I read all this. He has served as a driver safety instructor here since 1999, teaching some 15 classes every year, and has trained many others to become instructors as well. He's been a member of the Dormont chapter since 2000, including serving 2 years as the chapter president. He and his wife Rose also staff AARP's presence at many Allegheny County legislative health fairs every year, and they help with local movies for grown-up events. And he testified before the State House Transportation Committee back in 2010, advocating for comprehensive transportation planning that provides accessible, safe, and affordable choices for older residents. Okay, and beyond that, those responsibilities is John's attitude that serves as an inspiration for so many volunteers. The man simply won't say no. He's in charge of his chapter's pancake breakfast and annual picnic. He always volunteers at ARP shredding events, has worked at the ARP Food Bank and World Vision volunteer programs, and more than once has played Santa Claus at Christmas parties at local nursing homes. So I'm tired just reading all that. Of course, John's commitment to the community extends well beyond his work with AARP. The former high school teacher previously served 14 years on a local school board, was member of the Dormont Borough Planning Committee, and currently serves on the board of the local Ambulance Association. He's also a longtime volunteer at Ohio Valley Hospital in McKees Rocks and is very active with his church. Makes us all feel like we're not really doing much, doesn't it? But perhaps most importantly, John is always willing to share his expertise with other volunteers. He's a major resource to both his local chapter and the Allegheny County volunteer team. So the bottom line is John's an outstanding leader who has inspired many others to contribute to the impressive advocacy and community outreach work being done by his team of volunteers. He's a very worthy recipient of this award. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very proud to present the 2018 Andrews Award for Community Service to John Trevino.
Take a seat.
I really don't, but I'll take it.
Don't make it long.
Is it on?
Yes.
My wife will tell you to give me a mic, and we're going to stay here for a while. Wow, it's amazing to be in the class of Barbara Bush, Mary Bach, and the other candidates that won this award. It's an honor and a privilege to receive this this award. But I look at this award and I see AARP 2018 Andrews Award, Community Service, John Spadero. But I see more. I see the volunteers that work beside me, that helped me. They gave me the enthusiasm to keep on moving. If it wasn't for you guys, I don't think, whoops, that's not sweet. Won't be the first time I'm knocked over. Then I wouldn't be able to do what I've done. And it's because of you, of your leadership, every one of you. I know most of you. Those I don't know, hi. My name's John. I will not play the guitar for you, no, I won't do that. But I'll tell you what, there's also another group that I have to thank, and that's my chapter, Dormont Chapter 3016. With the committees that I'm on, the picnic committee, if I didn't have the help there, I would have had nothing. If we didn't have the pancake brunch, we would have had nothing. We are now working on activities dealing with the age-friendly, with Dormont community. We're having a meeting, our president and I are having a meeting with one of the councilwomen on Monday and working with the program. So you would be like that, huh? Yeah. But, so we're working. My chapter is very active. We're very fortunate. I'm sad when it comes to chapter. Carol Keeney and I were liaison represented this area. And Carol, remember, we used to go out and give certificates and plaques and everything for 35 and 40 years. Chapters is becoming an endangered species. And I used to give speeches to chapters. We used to go work out the problems that chapters have when they were closing, trying to put them together. And I used to tell the chapters, you guys, you're the nucleus of AARP. They're fading away. We know that. We had tons of them. Now we're down. I think in this area here, we have maybe about 36 chapters. And I think when Mary and I started, we had maybe about 70 or 80, easy. But now I look at this other stage, and there's other stages I see are the volunteers. I didn't realize how much we put in. With your leadership and your work, you guys did a great job. You're doing a great job now. Many of you are head and shoulders over me. Definitely. You've done a lot more. Take the bingo guy, take Mary, take Mazda, take a lot of you guys have put in a lot of time and effort. What I'm saying is this: you too can become a participant of this war. All you need is a ghostwriter. Truthfully, I fought this ghostwriter. I said, don't put my name in, don't write that down. Her name is Zeta Reese. So if you need a ghostwriter, she's the person for you. There's one more person that I kind of forgot to mention. My partner, my buddy, my wife, Rose. She was with me for all those. One thing you did forget, I was on council for 14 years, but that's okay. She stuck with me. You know, she just wouldn't let me become mayor, though. That's one thing we didn't do. But anyhow, I appreciate her service and putting up with me. I want to say one more thing. I hope to see the cartwheel next year. We're all going to show up, and we're going to fight to get the cartwheel in there, okay? We'll make sure you do the cartwheel. But I want to say this here. God bless you all. You have a blessed winter, and enjoy yourself. And thank you for coming, and hope to see you again. Thank you very much.
Tell me if this is right. You guys.
Branding is everything. I thought you were gonna hide it. Okay.